Hi teachers, today let us discuss about reflective pedagogy, and before that let us discuss about reflective teacher. So we will actually call who is a good teacher. He or she, when she uses the reflective methodology or reflective practices, then that teacher can be called as a good teacher or maybe an effective teacher. So what do you mean by reflective pedagogy? So reflective pedagogy is the methodology in which a teacher who is always actually critically examining one's own teaching processes and practices, assumptions, methods and results to make informal changes for continuous professional development. So there are two types of functioning. One is automatic functioning, another one is reflective functioning. Automatic functioning means we go to classrooms. Before that we prepare for the teaching, and then we go to classroom, we teach, and then we conduct tests and we award marks for students. So this is continuously we are doing the things, continuously automatically we are doing the things. But here in the reflective pedagogy, the teacher continuously examining his or her own practices. How I am doing, what I am doing, and why I am doing. So the teaching practices in which a teacher is conducting or engaging, how those processes are being conducted are continuously examined by the teacher. So this is reflective pedagogy. So we all know reflection, no? So when there is a mirror is there, you see, if you consider this as a mirror, if the person standing here, he will get his or her reflection in this mirror. In the same way, reflective pedagogy reflects how the teacher is functioning, how the teacher is doing his work. So to become a professional teacher, to become an effective teacher, one has to continuously examine, continuously check, evaluate. What he or she has to evaluate? The processes, practices, methodologies, assumptions, and thinking. So these are the things in which reflection on one's own experiences, reflection on one's own assumptions. So the teacher has to reflect on his or her experiences or assumptions also. And also, before doing the reflection, the teacher needs to have the socio-cultural context of learners. He or she should have the clarity on what social cultural context the learners are coming, and also he or she should take into consideration of varied experiences of learners. So this diversity in the learners need to be understood by the teacher, and then continuously the teacher needs to engage in reflection. So this reflective pedagogy moves from routine action. So always we are doing our work in a routine manner or in an automatic manner. So whatever I am doing as a teacher, I am doing all the things in a better way. That's my assumption. Whether if I am evaluating it, if I am critically analyzing it, if I am critically examining it, then there is a scope for improvement. So the reflective pedagogy is in which it moves from routine teaching to action, routine action to thoughtful and deliberate process. So thoughtful and deliberate process. So most of the times when we spend some 5 years or 10 years in our teaching job, we will be in an automatic mode or we will be in a routine teaching mode. So shifting from routine mode to thoughtful and deliberate mode. So teaching is such a kind of activity in which we should be very thoughtful in nature. we should be very deliberate in nature. If this is possible only when we reflect our experiences, when we reflect our teaching methodology, when we reflect our actions, when we reflect our assumptions, when we reflect our thoughts. So this reflective pedagogy makes the teacher a better teacher. Reflective pedagogy makes a teacher a continuously an effective teacher. So this is the reflective pedagogy. So in this episode, we are only learning about what is reflective pedagogy. In the next episode, we will learn about what is the rationale behind reflective pedagogy. Why we have to follow this? What is the rationale? So thank you so much for joining us. Dear teachers, welcome to the second episode regarding reflective pedagogy. In the first episode, we learned about what is reflective pedagogy. So we learned that reflective pedagogy is very much required for the teachers to improve themselves. So to think and devise alternative approaches from which the teachers actually doing the routine tasks. So in this manner, teachers are expected to be reflective practitioners, competent to use multiple methods, techniques to engage learners, keeping the socio-cultural context and the experiences of the learners in the mind. So teachers are expected to be as a reflective practitioners. So in this aspect, the teacher needs to consider the students as active participants, not as a passive participants. So in this aspect, the reflective pedagogy not only confines itself only for teaching learning processes. It not only confines for teaching learning processes, majority it confines for teaching learning processes. This is number one. Including this, it also, the scope can also be extended to understanding the child. So the reflection in understanding the children. And the third one is whatever processes we are following, the processes we are following, those processes also we have to challenge ourselves as teachers. And also the fourth one is the interactions between many people, interactions in which a teacher engages in interactions with many persons. Let us first discuss about the reflection in our teaching learning process. Why we have to do reflection in teaching learning processes? When I discussed that a mirror is there, when a person is here, actually he is seeing his reflection in the mirror, but he or she should know this mirror only reflects how we are only. If you want to become how we should become, whether we are lean or whether very, very fat, whether we become the fit persons, mirror will not tell that. So we should know what to become. So here, while reflecting in the teaching learning process, the teacher needs to know where he or she should move. There is a shift in teaching learning process needs to happen while teacher actually making the reflections. So what shift needs to be made means that the teacher-centered classroom has to be changed or shifted to learner-centered classrooms. Most of the times, when we as teachers reflect ourselves, our classes are more or dominated by only teachers. So we need to shift from teacher-dominated classrooms to learner-centered classroom. And then most of the times rigid classroom structure will be there. So we need to move from rigid classroom structure to flexible classroom structure or flexible classroom processes, teaching processes. And then most of the times teacher design, here only we can discuss, teacher directs most of the times. Teacher directs, teacher dictates, do this one, that one. Always teacher-centered classroom. In teacher-centered classroom, teacher directs and teacher takes decisions. Most of the times, the decision will be from the teacher only. The shift has to happen from teacher decision and teacher direction to learner autonomy. So we need to give autonomy to learner also. This is most important, friends. And the third one is learner receptivity. Only we see our students are only listening our classes. They are not doing any, most of the times they are not engaged in any activities. So here, from learner receptivity to learner participation, we need to ensure that learner participation is most important. Students need to participate in many activities like debates, discussions, projects, role plays. Otherwise, mere teaching, it will be very dull. So most of the times knowledge is given. So from knowledge is given, shift has to happen from knowledge given situation to knowledge is evolved. We need to see that our knowledge is constructed. So it is like teacher is the one who gives the knowledge. It is not like that. Teacher facilitates and learners, they will construct the knowledge, or the knowledge is evolved in the process. And common teaching task here, most of the times being teachers, we give only common teaching tasks, but that actually transform to multiple exposures. So there should be multiple exposures, like already when I discussed small group discussions or think, pair, share methods or role plays or projects. So common teaching task will not suffice. So since many students are in different varied abilities, they don't have common intelligence. One student is very learned or very intelligent, one is average, one is below average, one is very slow. So in this aspect, we need to move from common teaching tasks to multiple teaching tasks, and then disciplinary focused to multidisciplinary approach. Most of the times we are disciplinary focused. If I am teaching only chemistry, I only confine to chemistry. Actually, chemistry is in our bodies. We can discuss on biochemistry also. So multidisciplinary is most important. So this in this here, there is a shift need to happen from teacher centered to learner centered. So this shift in teaching learning process is the one in which the teacher needs to reflect upon where he or she should move. Unless this knowledge is there, then the teacher cannot, teacher is not able to reflect. The teacher is not having ability to reflect. And the second one is understanding the child. What is your understanding on the child? Whether you think child as an individual or whether you think child as the one in which he or she don't know anything and I only need to give all the knowledge to the child. What is your beliefs regarding the child? Whether you are believing in child-centered pedagogy, whether you are believing in child, the uniqueness of the child, that is, if you are having that kind of attitude, then reflection is going to happen. Then the third one is processes. The third one, different processes are actually in the school going to happen. Here in the teaching learning process, apart from teaching learning process also, there are many opportunities in which teacher and students are continuously interacting each other. In those scenarios, being a teacher, how is my behavior? How am I responding? How am I behaving? How am I actually behaving with the children or students or learners? This is the most important aspect. We should have clarity on how we have to behave. Then only this reflection can happen. And the fourth one is interactions. We are having, being a teacher, we need to interact with students, we need to interact with our colleagues, fellow teachers, and we need to interact with parents, and we need to interact with community and all that. So in all these interactions, how is my behavior? How is my mood? How is my whether I am able to manage my emotions, whether I am able to manage my mood, whether I am very, very critical in nature, or whether I am balanced one. So this is also one of the area in which reflection can happen. So these are the areas in which reflections can happen. So friends, this second episode is over. So please look for the third episode. Thank you so much. Hi friends, welcome to third episode of Reflective Pedagogy. In the earlier two episodes, we discussed regarding what is reflective pedagogy and what is the importance of having reflection in the teaching learning process. And in the second episode, we discussed on the various rationale why the reflective pedagogy is required, in what are the areas in which we can use reflection in the teaching learning process, in the understanding the child, and then in the other process in which the teacher engages with the students or with other parents, and also during the interaction with other teachers, students, and also parents, what is my behavior and how I am behaving. So the reflection can happen on all these areas. In the third episode, we are discussing on the qualities of teacher for reflection. The teacher do need to have certain qualities for reflection. Unless the teacher is having these qualities, he or she may not be able to reflect. So, for example, the first one is open-mindedness. The teacher should have open-mindedness. Otherwise, if he is not open to criticism, if he or she is not open to suggestions, if he or she is not open to any type of suggestions or critiques, so he or she is not able to reflect upon his or her own behavior or her own actions. So this is the most important and foremost quality in which the teacher should have for reflection. So if I am not having open-mindedness, if whatever I am doing, many teachers will be like that. Many persons will be like that. Whatever they are doing, they are doing correct only. I am always correct. Whatever I am doing, that is valid only. So such kind of attitude will not holds good or will not work when we are supposed to do reflection. This is the first quality, and the second quality is accountability. So teacher is having accountability. He is accountable for the management or government or students or public, for the community. Above all, the teacher is accountable for himself, for herself. Self accountability is the most accountability for the self. So this type of mindset should be there for a teacher to reflect upon. And the third one is growth mindset. Teacher should have growth mindset. So otherwise, growth mindset are such kind of attitude. As a teacher, I need to actually evolve as a better teacher. Such kind of ambition a teacher should have. So then only teacher will be able to reflect and then do some kind of analysis, do some kind of critical analysis, and then he or she will challenge his or her own actions for the betterment of himself or herself. So this one, the growth mindset, he or she should be there, and socially aware and cooperative in nature. The fourth one is socially aware and cooperative. So he or she should be very cooperative for this reflection or reflective pedagogy. So he or she should invite his or her friends to say, how is my teaching? Well, please give suggestions. Or he or she may ask parents or teachers, fellow teachers. So, or he or she can record a voice or record his video and then see how I did my class. So, and socially, he or she should be aware also, and also cooperative in nature, and informed and conscious decision making. He or she should be informed and conscious decision making. So the conscious decision making is the one in which the teacher should do while making reflection. So he or she should challenge his or her actions and then decide on what is good, what is expected. So this informed in the sense he or she should know what needs to be done. Otherwise, if I don't have that clarity on what to become, how my teaching should be, in the previous episode we discussed on that, he or she should be informed and conscious decision making should be there. And the sixth one is flair of research should be there. The teacher should be, he or she should be research oriented. That mindset should be there. If such one kind of teaching is not working, let's suppose you are teaching, the students are not actually listening to you, students are making noise. Why they are doing noise? In spite of doing all actions, all possible strategies, if those are not working, then you have to do some kind of research and then find out what is the reason in which things are not improving. So this is the another quality. And the seventh one is sensitive towards values. The teacher should be sensitive towards values. So this is most important. So value oriented pedagogy should be there. So when in the process of teaching, we should not undermine any children. We should not label any child. So such kind of values if I am having, then only I will be able to reflect. And the last one is incongruence. This is also most important. So how can a teacher do the analysis? So he or she can do SWOT analysis. As we all know, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. That analysis he or she can himself do while doing reflection. Or another technique is there, Johari window, another technique is there. So you can search in the internet and you can do. So these are the qualities in which a teacher should have for reflection. If we are not having these qualities, we should be able to develop these qualities. If I am not having open-mindedness, I have to develop. I am open to criticisms. I am open to challenges, opinions, growth mindset, accountability. I should be socially aware and cooperative. I should be informed. I should read a lot regarding child-centered pedagogy and all that. And conscious, I have to make decision-making conscious. And I should be a researcher. And also, I should be a value-oriented person. So friends, the third episode is over. And please follow me for the coming episode. Thank you. Friends, welcome you all for the fourth episode of Reflective Pedagogy. So in the earlier three episodes we discussed around what is the reflective pedagogy, who is a reflective teacher, and in second episode also we discussed around what are the qualities of a reflective teacher, what are the qualities a teacher should have. In the third episode we discussed. In the second episode we discussed around what are the areas in which the teacher can do reflection. In this, let us discuss in the fourth episode what are the types of reflection. There are majorly three types of reflection we can do. One is reflection in action. So what do you mean by reflection in action? So when, let's suppose I am lecturing you, I am presenting a concept on reflective pedagogy. So while doing the teaching, after 5-10 minutes, I should be able to reflect on my teaching that no, I am not doing right. I should change my method. I should change my strategy. I have to use some different kind of strategy. So while doing action only, while doing something teaching, whether you may be teaching or you may be interaction, So we discussed, so maybe I am interacting with a parent, or I am teaching in a class. Then and there only I should be able to reflect on my practices. Let's suppose you are doing a teaching on some area. So after 20 minutes of teaching, you come to know that students are keeping mum. They are not responding at all. Then while observing that, you should be able to reflect on that situation, and then you need to change the strategy. You need to write important concepts on the blackboard, and you can ask some few questions, or you can make the children in small groups, and all. You have to change the strategy, or you can change the methodology. So this is the reflection in action. While you are on action, you are doing that reflection. It is reflection in action. The second one is reflection on action. So this is the second one, in which you conducted the lesson today, and when you go back home, while you are having your tea, you may reflect on your class in which it went wrong, or in which it may be an excellent class for that matter. So what and why that class become a bad class or not a good class? Why and what made that class as a very good class? So you are reflecting after the action. Here you are reflecting while the action is going on. So here, after the action, after the teaching, maybe on the day of itself, or maybe on the coming day, or maybe in a week's time, after a week you may forget. So you have to do reflection maybe on that day itself, or maybe in a couple of days. Then you will be able to reflect on, for example, you taught a concept. So on rainbow, how rainbows are formed. Rainbow is formed. Then the class, there was no interaction from the students, and the class was not interactive, and the class that students did not learn to the expected level. Then in the evening, you may be actually wondering why that has happened. What could have been done differently? So that is called reflection on action. The third one is reflection for action. Reflection for action. You see, when you combine these two, while doing teaching only you are reflecting yourself, or after teaching, or after some interaction, or after a specific incident over, you are reflecting. So you keep in mind all these two things, and then you reflect for future. Future means maybe tomorrow, or maybe in the coming days. So you are reflecting the experiences then and there itself, and also reflections happen few days today, or after some 2-3 days. You are reflecting for the future. You are planning. You are actually designing or developing an action plan to improve yourself. What are the things in which gone bad or gone wrong? So you need to eliminate those things, and then which are the things in which they become better, then those things you need to continue. So this is the important one in which this reflection will help you. So friends, these are the 3 types of reflections in which we can use in our teaching learning process. Look for the 4th episode. Thank you. Friends, welcome you all for the 5th episode of Reflective Pedagogy. We are actually in series, we are discussing on all these, on this concept of reflective pedagogy. If you have not seen the previous episodes, please go and see and encourage me. So this is the 5th episode. Here we are discussing on methods of reflective pedagogy. So in the previous episode we discussed on the types of reflective pedagogy. Here majorly there are 2 types, in which one is individual reflection, another one is group reflection. One is individual, another one is group reflection. So individual reflection is one in which a teacher reflect himself or herself. That is individual reflection. When I complete a teaching, I reflect on the teaching, or in the process itself I reflect on how I am teaching. So this is individual reflection. The individual reflects himself or herself, individual teacher. So another one is group reflection. So individual reflection is one in which an individual teacher reflects himself, herself. But in group reflection, that community, think for example, teacher 1, teacher 2, teacher 3, there may be 4 teachers. So if teacher 1 is teaching, these 3 teachers are actually observing teacher 1's class, and then they will discuss. So what were the things in which very better, effective, and then which are the elements in which a teacher can improve upon. And after this, teacher 2 teachers and all other teachers will observe and critically examine, observe and give feedback. So when this group reflection happens, then the level of understanding and cooperativeness slowly has to increase. Otherwise, there should not be any scope for any personal judgments, or it's here the sole purpose is only for improvement of teacher, or professional improvement of teacher is the only objective. Continuous professional development is the only objective we should have in our minds. If anybody is actually making some criticisms or any personal criticisms or attacks should not be there when there is a group reflection is there. So that type of care should be taken, and we should have clear do's and don'ts on while giving feedback, while giving suggestions, while giving opinions. There should not be any prejudice. Or sometimes only people will only give only positive feedback only. People may not be interested in giving you. It's not negative feedback. It is a constructive feedback. We should call it as a constructive feedback. Wherein, if I am teaching something here, you should be able to guide me if I am doing something wrong, or if you should be able to guide me for my improvement. No, if you do like this, the class will be still better. So these are the methods. These are the 2 methods in which reflection is happen. We can do reflections. So thank you friends for this episode 5. Please look for the episode 6. Thank you. Welcome friends. Welcome to the 6th episode of Reflective Pedagogy. In this episode, we are discussing on what are the features of reflective pedagogy. So what are the main points in which the reflective pedagogy we need to take care? The first one is this is cyclical process. This is not linear process. The reflective pedagogy is a cyclical process. It is not linear. So it is not like constantly something I am teaching or doing my process or practices. It should not be a constant one. It should not be a routine one. It is a cyclical process wherein we have to experience, and then we have to analyze, and then action. So this is the cyclical process. So when you get experience, let's suppose you taught a particular subject in a classroom, you get some experience. So whether something might have gone wrong, something might have better, and all that. And after that, you analyze that. And after analysis, you have to take some action to improve your process. Then again, it will lead to experience. It is not linear. It will not go straight like this. It is a cyclical process in which continuously we keep on doing this reflection. Till what time? Till we retire, or till our teacher is always a teacher, no? So always a teacher should be able to reflect his or her abilities, teaching practices, and need to improve is teaching processes and practices. This is the first one. It is cyclical and not linear. Second one is teacher, this reflection should have multiple lenses. Multiple lenses. This means that as a teacher, as a self, I need to reflect. I am the one, I will reflect myself, how was my teaching. And second one, we may ask our students to give opinions. How was my class? Most of the times we may not do this. We can actually ask our students, please tell me which is the one aspect you liked the most, or which is learnt better, and which is the one in which you are still having confusion. So this is the students. One lens is self lens, another lens is students lens, and third one is colleagues lens. We can ask our colleagues to give feedback on our teaching. So this is the one. Fourth one is maybe we can have we can community also, we can ask for feedback, community also. If you are very open, maybe these three is good, but if you are very open, then the community also you can ask for it. And the fifth one is research. So if you have done all the things, all the strategies in which you are undertaken, all the strategies and activities to improve your teaching processes, or your interaction with the teachers, students, or with parents, still if anything is not improved, you have to go for research. You have to use this lens. So these are the 4 lenses or 5 lenses. Community, you may use it or you may not use it, but still I recommend you please use community also if you want to improve. And these are the 5 lenses in which you can use. Then third one is focus on why. So most of the times we only focus on what happened. We need to analyze, and also we need to challenge our beliefs. We need to challenge. So reflection will be beneficial when we challenge our beliefs, when we challenge our practices. When I am very open to criticisms, when I am very open to the suggestions, when I am very open to my assumptions, then I am very, very open-minded, in which I am having all the possibilities to grow as a professional teacher. So this focus on why. So that is most important. To focus on why, you need to do analysis. You have to analyze what went wrong, what went good, and all that. That is the most important one. The fourth one is promotes action-oriented change. So this is most important. Action-oriented change is most important one. So all the reflection is for change, is for action. Maybe you may reflected yourself, or you might have taken the suggestion of students, or you might have taken the suggestions or feedback of colleagues, or community, or research. The sole reason is for action. Any suggestion, any feedback, if it is not actually acted upon that, if you haven't acted upon that feedback or suggestion, that feedback was not useful. So action oriented change, we need to change our teaching, and then our beliefs, and then our attitudes, and then our behaviors, because of this reflections. So friends, these are the 4 main important features in which our reflective pedagogy we should reflect on all these aspects. So please, if you haven't seen the previous episodes, please see and encourage me. Look for another 2 episodes. Thank you so much. Friends, welcome to the 7th episode of Reflective Pedagogy. So, in this episode, we are discussing about Gibbs cycle of reflective pedagogy. This is having 6 steps, in which first one is the description. Whatever you have done, for example, you did a teaching, you taught a class. So, after that class, you need to describe on what happened. What happened. Only facts only you need to write here. You have to describe what happened. Nothing more than facts. For example, you taught a specific concept. On that concept, while you are teaching, most of the students may be quarreling in the classroom, or they are not responding, or they are not actually asking any questions, neither asking any questions, nor actually answering your questions. Then you are actually describing that as when I was teaching this subject in this concept, this is what happened. This is description. The second one is feeling. So you have to mention in your reflection that how did you feel? How did you feel? What did you think? So that you need to enter. So here maybe you may write that I become sad, or I become irritated. That particular student made me annoyed me. Then so I was very, very, very anxious, or I was very, very angry. So that feeling you need to capture on that. The third one is evaluation. So in these facts and this feeling, what was good and what was not good or bad, that you need to evaluate. What was good and what was bad. So this is the third step in which you are actually evaluating about the experience, maybe regarding the facts and regarding the feeling or your thoughts. You are evaluating what was good and what was bad. Next, the fourth step is most important. You are analyzing it. Here only what was good and what was bad only you are writing. This is not analysis, you are only evaluating. After evaluation, you are analyzing it. So you are here, you are analyzing it. Why did it happen? Why did it happen? For example, if a particular student annoyed you, you become angry about a particular student, you should be able to analyze that. Maybe you felt very bad, you become very angry, you have written the fact. Then here you have to analyze that. Maybe when he annoyed me, I should have been patient. I should have calmed myself. So this is the analysis part, why the particular thing has happened. And then this is the most important thing. Why did it happen? Connecting to theory or context. This is the most important one, is you have to connect to theory or context. So connecting to theory means, so if a particular student made some mistake in the classroom, he misbehaved, you actually hit him, you gave punishment, then that has actually aggravated the situation. Then you need to connect it to theory. I should have not punished him physically. Corporal punishment is actually prohibited, and also this is of no use. You should be able to connect it to theory and context. That is the analysis. Then the conclusion part is, what did you learn? What did you learn? Out of this experience, what did you learn? This is the most important. So you are describing the fact here, what you felt you are describing here, and then what was good and bad you are actually explaining. Here, why did it happen, and then you are connecting it to the context or theory. And then what did you learn out of this? No, I should have not behaved like this, or I should have prepared myself better, or I should have made the students participated better, or I should have used my blackboard work better, or I should have shown some videos, or I should have made some small groups and give the work to do in a small activity, or I should have given some project. So this is the lesson unit. Here is the lesson here. Then the action plan is Also, what could have been done? That also you have to, what could have been done? So if something has gone wrong, so I should have not done that. That you need to conclusion. And this is the sixth one, is the important step, wherein after all these experiences, you should be able to draw some action plan to improve yourself. So you have learnt a lesson because of this feeling, because since it was not bad. But if, for example, if it may be good also. If you have done an excellent teaching strategy that went very well, then you should be able to explain that it is a very good concept, very good strategy I used. I need to continue that. Maybe you can make some minor modifications and then you can continue that. This is the most important one. What will you going to do in future? In future means in the coming days, tomorrow or the coming days. So this is the Gibbs cycle. This is, I just have written like this. It is like a cyclical process. So after this it will happen. This will, and action plan. Next you will experience. So friends, this is the 7th episode. We are coming to the end. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, I request you to see and comment. Thank you so much. Friends, welcome you all for the 8th and final episode of Reflective Pedagogy. So here we are discussing on tools and techniques of reflective pedagogy. So there are majorly 4 tools and techniques we need to use. These are the tools in which one, you can actually maintain a journal or diary. You can maintain a small book wherein you can actually write daily. You can write daily, or you can write it on weekly basis. Better if you write daily. Or if you are actually very interested in doing reflective in action, while teaching itself you want to do something, then there also you can carry that small diary to the classroom. After some 30-25 minutes, if something went wrong or something went very good, then you can make a small note. So that in that way, reflective journal or diary is very beneficial for reflection. So most of the times we think that everything will be in our memory, but as the days pass, everything will be out of our memory. So these journals or diary is a very good tool in which we need to write. Maybe you can write in 2-3 sentences, or maybe if you are actually writing, the previous episode we discussed on how we have the cycle of reflective pedagogy. There you can actually do the in detailed one. So both you can do. Maybe you can do very short, or maybe you can do in length also. The second one is you can ask your friend, a critical friend who is those friend in which who always he or she praises you. That's of no use. Or only critic friend, it's okay to get critical feedback. It's for our good only. So if you invite your friend and then ask him or her to observe your lesson, to give feedback, but you should have some structure when you are inviting your friend to observe your lesson. So on what are the parameters in which a student needs to a teacher needs to observe your lesson. Maybe observing the lesson, or maybe on the general behavior of a teacher. General, how I am behaving with students, how I am behaving with children. Those things are also most important. Those things are also very good things to reflect upon, to evolve as a effective teacher. And the third one is the exit tickets or student feedback. This is the most important one. Exit tickets means after the end of the class, you can write a small chits. Let's suppose if you are having some 25 students in your class, you have to make some 25 small chits wherein you can write that what part of the lesson you learned better, or that was which part of the lesson, which point you learned better. And also the second one, you can also ask 2 things. You can ask which is the what point or what concept, subconcept you still having doubt. If you collect from 25 students, then that is a great feedback in which you will be able to get. Often you can do that, maybe some once in 10 days or once in 15 days. Definitely you can do that. This is the most important, that's getting students feedback. And the fourth one is audio and video clippings. You can record your class and then maybe audio or video, and then you can see later, and then you yourself maybe these 1 and 4 are something like same. Here you are actually writing in a diary, here you are actually having a video or audio record of it, and then you are analyzing it. You are actually analyzing and coming to the conclusion which are the good things in which come up in the class, or which are the bad things or errors or some limitations which have come up, and then you can analyze it, and then you can have some cues to improve your teaching and teaching practices and also your behavior. So friends, so we are coming to the end of this Reflective Pedagogy 8th episode. This is the Reflective Pedagogy is the most important process in which a teacher should practice in his or her daily life, so that he or she will become a better teacher. Otherwise, routinely or automatically teaching for years and years, then we end up in doing the same. If you are doing the same things, we get same results only. If you are doing different things, that too deliberate and conscious efforts. So friends, I request you to all follow this reflective pedagogy process and approach. And if you haven't seen previous 7 episodes, I request you to please see and give me valuable feedback. Thank you so much.